Okay, so I just wanted to update everybody on what's going on with my wife in the hospital. Um, it's it's a lot, and it's confusing. It's even confusing these um, advanced specialist doctors, right? And it's really hard to know for certainty, especially with someone that is immune compromised and has all these complex medical issues, exactly what's causing what. But the good news is she's doing way better. She hasn't had any convulsions or spells, whatever the heck. They call them like 15 different things. It's basically like a seizure, but not epileptic. She hasn't had one of those for like 2 days. They did an EEG. They confirmed that they're non-epileptic, but again, like I'm not sure if I trust that or not. They're not going to start her on any medicine for epilepsy. They did lumbar puncture today, and the pressure in her head was normal, so they decided not to start medicine for that. Or I guess it's specifically for like seizures, but I'm not sure I agree with that. But it is what it is. Because she's already had high pressure in her skull a couple of times, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor, right? What else? So it's really confusing because the first hospital we went to, they said she was in septic shock. And she did have really high white blood cells. And then one of the hospitalists told me the other day that there wasn't an infection. And I'm just like, excuse me? Because, septic shock is a pretty big deal. But then he explained that, like, that's what do you call it, a clinical diagnosis. So even if they don't have all the cultures back, if they see the symptoms, then that's something that they will use, to basically get her treated and all that. But that still doesn't explain the, like, super high white blood cells. There was an infection, and the best I can tell is maybe he messed up on what he was telling me. And there was no UTI because they did a 24-hour urine collection, and there was no infection in there. And all the cultures came back negative for the tests in the first hospital. But remember, immune compromised, those results are not always going to look how they expect them to look. I think there was an infection for sure in her intestines. And they gave her some heavy duty antibiotics. They're going to still send her home with antibiotics. So the fact that she's going home with antibiotics is like, yeah, there was an infection, guys. But yeah, I said they're going to send her home. She hasn't been cleared by everybody, but the doctors that have cleared her, one of the things they said is that she's going home with antibiotics. What else? Oh, so for the stomach, right? Like, that was where most of her pain was originating. She's already got some pretty severe stomach problems. Like, she's got something called gastroparesis, and it makes it to where your stomach or your intestines don't want to move food around like everybody else. Like, it just slows down to a crawl. It'll sit there and just really make you uncomfortable. And she's taking all kinds of different medicine to help her with that. The doctors, I think, are going to send her home with another medication to kind of help with that as well. And it was bad. It wasn't like normal constipation. It was so bad she literally looked pregnant. Okay, so her words, not mine. But it was noticeably swollen, right? Like, she was so uncomfortable. Honestly, it's shocking. Like, it's crazy. I haven't seen her since last week. If I can find somebody to watch the kids tomorrow, I'll probably head up there tomorrow because we're 3 hours away. The reason I'm explaining this in broad terms, like you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, is because I might post this to update people that care on TikTok or whatever. What else? So yeah, I told you there was just so much. I talked to her today. She seems way more like she seems a lot closer to her baseline. She seems less confused and what's the right word? Like she's like snappy, like it. Because I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but like whenever she's having her neurological symptoms, it's kind of hard to communicate sometimes because she won't understand things or she won't remember things. And I don't necessarily understand her all the time. Not for a lack of trying. It's just, when your brain is fighting you, it's kind of hard to communicate sometimes. But I'm still kind of peeved that they're not going to stop one of her anti-rejection medications because it's literally, cytotoxic and there's other options. I'm like, dude, that's like the bare minimum. At least like switch medications, because one of the side effects of it is you can have like night terrors, and she definitely has those, and you can have hallucinations. She definitely has those. And the thing is, even if your levels are not like in a high, like critically high, it doesn't really matter. You can have almost no tacrolimus in your system and still have symptoms. But try explaining that to these doctors that just look at labs and don't always like think through things for more than 5 seconds. Unless you bring it up. And it's really weird that I have to bring that up sometimes. But even the experts overlook simple stuff sometimes. So I'm not expert. I'm just a dude that has a smidge of the tism, and I really deep dive into stuff. I think that's about it. But she's gonna have dialysis early in the morning. For those of you that didn't know, she's an end-stage renal failure. She's already had one kidney transplant. That one did her good for about 5 years, but something happened. She went through some rejection, and I mean, it's still doing some, but she needs dialysis weekly or multiple times a week. But yeah, they'll get her done with that dialysis. I'm not sure what the plan is after that. But it seems like if everything goes well, they don't really have any other reason to keep her. If she doesn't have an infection, if her blood pressure is normal, they don't really have a solid answer on how to treat the seizures, whatever. We're not out of options there. We can still go see some specialists, but she's really pumped because, of course she is, but for more than one reason. She had accepted that she was probably gonna have to drop out of school. Yeah, she's going to nursing school. But because it looks like she'll only miss one clinical, she probably will be able to finish this semester. So that'd be really cool for her. I really hope that things go smooth and we can just get her home and she can reload that brain and get going. But yeah. Anywho, yeah, I'm outside in the dark but taking care of the ducks and chickens and everything. I'm probably about to go find a way to make my trailer a little bit harder to steal because I put it outside the fence today. Now I'm just rambling. Why are y'all still listening to me? But yeah, hopefully tomorrow I can bring her home. That'd be awesome. The kids would be happy. I'd be happy. Happy. Okay. Anyways, y'all take care.